Hello everyone, I welcome you to the part 2 of the series Face Mask Simplified. In the part 1 we have already discussed about the different classifications and types of masks and respirators and what exactly their series numbers mean. Here we are going to discuss about why to use different kind of respirators in what different procedures as a medical or a dental practitioner. So when we talk about aerosol, everybody is talking about aerosols on the social media, a lot of articles being published in relation to the past SARS COVID-1 virus and the influenza virus. We need to understand that the source of aerosol is important. The first source is from the equipment and the other source is from the patient. This is what is very important to understand, that a patient generated aerosol is not going to travel that much as an equipment generated aerosol. So when we talk about the dental procedures which involve a lot of aerosol production, we can see most of the regular procedures require a lot of aerosol production. Ultrasonic scalers, air polishing, tooth preparation, even the diagnostic air water syringe, all these things produce a lot of aerosols. Now what exactly do I mean by the term aerosol? So when we talk about an aerosol, it is a particle of less than 10 microns size. What we need to understand is if the patient is just breathing or talking, the aerosol will follow a parabolic path and will not travel more than 1.5 meters. When a patient coughs, it is important to note that the velocity is approximately 10 meters per second and this travels up to 2 meters. But the most important is when the patient is sneezing. This travels at a speed of almost 50 meters per second and can go up to 6 meters distance. So when you move out of the operatory, you have to understand that you remove your masks only once you are out of the operatory, because the aerosols are going to stay in the environment of your operatory for at least 3 hours. Now this is what we have already discussed, that a mask and a respirator are two different things which we need to understand. So surgical mask your staff can use, you can use when you are not coming in close contact with the patient or when you are just doing the diagnostic part or seeing the patients. But to use a respirator, all the AGPs, all the aerosol generating procedures for the dental as well as the medical practitioner, all of them require at least an N95 respirator. So how big is the coronavirus? It's 0.06 to 0.14 microns. See, the size of the influenza and the coronavirus is almost same. So all the studies which have been performed on the influenza virus can be applied to the SARS-CoV-2 also. So what we understand by the research which has been done, it says that there is not a significant difference between the surgical masks and N95 when protecting the wearers against influenza. So if we talk about how these masks are calculated, how these masks are checked based on the sizes of particles, we are basically talking about PM2.5, PM10 masks, which is based on the pollution particles. When you see a 2.5 micron test being done on a mask, the size of COVID virus is much smaller than that. So are we sure that these masks are going to protect us from these viruses? Let's see that. So when you understand how these viruses move in a Brownian motion. So what do we understand by this is that they do not travel unimpeded. What they do is they collide with the air, the particles in oxygen, nitrogen, and that is how collectively they enter into the atmosphere, and that is why we say that with a 3 micron, 0.3 micron filtration efficiency, these particles, they have a huge, there are a lot of chances that these particles will not cross over from the mask and enter into your respiratory tract. For the surgeons, people who are going to operate on patients, we need to understand that the N95 normal and N95 surgical are two different masks. When you compare these masks, you have to understand that there is a specific test of fluid resistance which has been performed on these N95 masks, which are going to be used for the surgical procedure. So an 8210 model is not going to give you that protection which a 1860 model is going to give you, because that has got a suffix added as S. That means it is from the surgical respirator range. Another important point, wherever possible, it is good to have no facial hair when you are trying to use these half piece or full face respirators, or even the disposable ones, because when you have hair all around, the hair is going to disrupt the seal of the mask around the face. So the take home message from the part 1 and part 2 of this video for medical and dental practitioners: if we talk about the dentists and the primary dental assistants who are going to assist you, the first hand assistants, for any aerosol generating procedure, you are supposed to use an N95 surgical series or a P100, a P3, FFP3 mask. If you are doing a non-aerosol generating procedure, an N95 or an FFP2 mask would be good to go ahead with. For the secondary or a floor assistant, an N95 respirator or an FFP2 again. For the front office and reception, it is going to be again an N95 or an FFP2 respirator. For the patient attendants, we have already discussed that they need to remove their masks which they have been wearing, and they are supposed to wear either a surgical mask or an N95 respirator. So when we talk about the aerosol generating procedure, I would recommend you to use the enhanced PPE, wherein you can see the dentist is wearing a face shield, along with that half face respirator, the entire PPE kit, and this is how the procedure has to be performed when you're doing an aerosol generating procedure. Thank you so much for watching this video, and for those who have just logged in and they are seeing the part 2 of the video, I would request them to go ahead and see the part 1 of the video as well. Thank you so much.